no joke. I used to let the mic smoke. Now I slam it when I'm done and make sure it's broke. When I'm gone, no one gets on, cause I won't let nobody press up and mess up the scene I set. I like to stand in the crowd and watch the people wonder, damn. But think about it, then you understand. I'm just an addict, addicted to music. Maybe it's a habit. I gotta use it, even if it's jazz or...
What an awesome promo, Chris. I'm Lauren Jones here with Chris Hochgesang, and today it is the NBA playoffs. We're going to be talking all NBA right now. So, Chris, what's been the biggest surprise thus far?
I got to go with the Memphis Grizzlies here. You know, the Washington Wizards have been very surprising. Just LaMarcus Aldridge by himself has been surprising. But I'd have to go with the Grizzlies because, shame on me, I looked past them. I really thought this was the year the Thunder were going to put it back together, make a run back to the finals. Westbrook might change his game a little bit. But no, the Grizzlies have really stepped up in these playoffs. I mean, not only have they gone up 2-1 in this series, but they've had some back-breaking fourth quarters so far in Game 1 and Game 2 and Game 3, where the Thunder really gave them, they came back. The Grizzlies were up 17 in Game 2 before, in both of these games, they give up unbelievable 4-point plays to go to overtime. A lot of teams would crumble under that pressure, but the Grizzlies have really risen above it, and they really might win this series.
Wow, okay. I was thinking the Washington Wizards, but I guess
they deserve some love as well, definitely. You would never expect Nene to have this kind of impact so far in the playoffs.
Yeah, and Bradley Beal and John Wall, I mean, they're really killing it. So who's the most likely to sweep? You know, we have the Washington Wizards, Portland Trail Blazers, and then we have the Miami Heat.
You know, I'd love to go with my Blazers here. I definitely think they could do it, and I think the Wizards maybe could do it as well. I like both of those teams to finish up those series pretty soon, but I got to go with the Heat with Big Al and a big old boot on his leg. You know, they're fighting really hard. They've been really tough. McBob has been playing hard, giving cold-blooded elbows to LeBron. They've really played tough, but I think with their leader hurt, you know, you see him walk into the locker room, I got to expect the Heat to wrap that one up.
And then who is the player that needs to step it up the most? Because there's been a couple of disappointments.
Well, looking at who needs to step it up, so far in the playoffs, there have been 2 players that have had at least 19 shots and shot below 33%.
Yeah.
That's James Harden in Game 1 and James Harden Game 2. He needs to take this to another level. We've sort of elevated him in the NBA this year as to the #1 shooting guard.
Definitely.
Maybe with guys like Kobe hurt, we want to bring him up on that pedestal, but he's really come down in these playoffs. I mean, what's he doing? He's arguing with reporters after games, calling them weirdos. You've got montages of how bad his defense is. He needs to step it up all the way around and try to make something happen in Game 3, or him and the rest of the Rockets are going to be toast.
Now, who is a bigger concern, the Pacers or OKC?
Now, I definitely think OKC is in trouble here. I definitely see that one going 7. But I got to go with the Pacers on this one because they might lose the next 2 games. I mean, you've got they're just crumbling on the road at home. I got to go with the Pacers because I'm not sure if they're good enough to really win another game in this series. The Atlanta Hawks have been just shooting threes, and we haven't seen the Pacers really adjust that well.
I mean, they're the #1 seed, and they're kind of getting embarrassed at this point. Frank Vogel's job is in jeopardy, apparently.
You got to think his job's on the line on this one. He already said he's coaching for his job. He tried to say everybody's coaching for their jobs,
Right.
But I think he's under a lot of pressure. I think the Pacers, after starting off as the NBA lovebirds, have really fallen under hard times once the pressure is really heated up on them. I expect the Hawks to advance. They look like the better playoff team.
Yeah, and there's all that trouble in the locker room as well with Lance Stevenson getting into fights. I don't know. But I need to know who, even though I kind of have an idea, who's your MVP for the first round?
You know, I really looked around to other options. I didn't want to be a bias on this one. But it's got to be my boy LaMarcus.
I gotta agree
He's
on
got
that
89 in 2 games in the playoffs so far. No one's done that. First 2 games of a series on the road since Jordan and Tracy McGrady, 2 of the best scorers. I mean, look at those highlights. It's unbelievable. He's bringing back the mid-range game. Oh, it's so beautiful. You love to see that, especially when it's your favorite player on your favorite team. But he's quite obviously the MVP so far. LMA for MVP.
I think you mentioned that he was your man crush Monday?
Oh, certainly my man crush Monday. Hopefully my man crush Friday tonight.
Okay. Well, that's all the time we have for today, but we're going to toss it back to you guys in the studio for final memos.